You are now tuning in to the Evolution Daily Podcast.
So I've created a new term.
Okay.
And the new term is dopamine demons.
Oh.
What does dopamine demon mean to you?
I mean, I guess something that fucks with your dopamine, like porn or food or some shit.
So a dopamine demon is a person.
A person.
It's not a consumable good or really any particular action. It's a person who becomes a demon for the dopamine.
Oh, okay.
So, do you know the term chasing the ghost? Do you know what that means?
No.
So, when you are in a big city, you will see a lot of crackhead-esque people.
Okay.
They're wandering around and they're staring at the ground, and you will occasionally see them go and pick something up and throw it back to the ground.
Wow.
And what that is it's called chasing the ghost, chasing the dragon. And what that is they're withdrawing so terribly from heroin or from crack or from meth or something.
Wow.
That they're looking at they're staring at the ground, hoping that because they've done crack in that area or they know other people have done crack in that area, they are hoping that somebody has dropped some crack.
Wow.
And so they're staring at the ground, looking at it, and then they will pick up random objects. You'll see them analyze the object and then throw it down.
I have actually seen this happen once.
Yeah.
We were in Miami, I think, and I saw a crack lady, pick up a lighter and then throw it back down.
Yeah. So in that case, maybe she was hoping it worked and then it didn't.
Yeah.
But they'll just pick up actual little stones, little pieces of trash, things like that.
Wow.
And so they're so fucked that they are hoping. I mean, think about that. Imagine you want some food right now.
Sure.
And so you're fiending for food so badly that you are now wandering the street staring at the ground looking for crumbs. And then you're picking things up and realizing it's not food, so you throw it back to the ground.
It's a pretty bad place to be.
So that's basically the entire state of men in today's world.
Really?
Yes. Most men today are crackheads wandering around downtown Cleveland, picking up random objects, hoping that they're crack and throwing them to the ground. But instead what they're doing is they are doing this digitally. And so the mechanism of dopamine is really one of the greatest evolutionary mechanisms that we truly have. I mean, it's a very, very simple reward system for the brain. The food that tastes the best gives you dopamine, and it gives you the most dopamine. Sex gives you dopamine, orgasm. Success, a win, some sort of a victory gives you dopamine. And so all of these were incredible evolutionary mechanisms when we were not living in a true abundance of resources.
Right.
Because you're now being stimulated and rewarded for reproducing, for eating food that's going to give your body energy that it desperately desires, for, creating a shelter, for some sort of a victory in your tribe, for survival. You were given dopamine. But now, in today's world where everything is overly abundant, we're living in the first generation, really, of time where throughout all of time, scarcity was what killed everybody. And we are now moving into the first age where abundance is going to be what kills everybody.
Yeah, wow.
Our ancestors starved to death because there was scarcity. They froze to death because there was scarcity. We are now living in a world where there is actually too much resources, and because of that, we will die because of it. And so a lot of guys are demons for dopamine, complete dopamine demons. And so they're
chasing that ghost.
They're chasing that dopamine ghost constantly, and their dopamine receptors are fucking fried. How old were you when you watched porn for the first time?
It's pretty early, actually. It was like middle school.
Okay. That's early.
Yeah.
That's pretty early.
It was like 2002.
How were you watching porn? Because I remember that time, and I barely had access to a computer.
I ended up having I had to put this out there. I ended up having like a work computer at where my mom worked all the time, and they just let me have free reign in the back.
Really?
And so I kind of just discovered porn once.
Your mom would bring you to work.
Yeah.
And then what did they think you were doing on that computer?
I mean, I wasn't always on porn, but like most of the time I was just playing games or whatever. But like, that was how I discovered it.
Wow, fascinating. So they're thinking Hunter's back there playing crosswords.
I mean, I don't know
doing
if I was
homework,
like jabbing in the back or anything, but
right. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit later on watching porn. Let me think. I mean, I was probably about 16 when I first got onto porn. And, these kids nowadays are literally 6 years old watching porn.
Wow.
I mean, they are 6, they are 7, they are 8, they barely even have a reproductive system hardly, and they are, jerking it and getting hard and watching porn and having those dopamine receptors just fucking blasted. You see these kids who their parents, instead of letting that child be present in any given moment and critically think and analyze and, stand there in line with dad and just be bored and use your imagination and look around and pretend this stupid candy bar is a fucking car and whatever the fuck else. You just see these kids locked into the iPad all day, every day. And so you've got guys today, we'll take guys our age, they're around 30 years old, 25. We'll take 21 to 34.
Sure.
Where they're complete dopamine demons. They are addicted, ferociously and viciously addicted to TikTok, to Instagram, to scrolling on Tinder, to and somebody might say, oh, but Tinder is going to help me to get laid. Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, the amount of guys that are actually getting laid from online dating is incredibly low. It's incredibly low. If they do, it's few and far between. The women are not that attractive, the women that they end up getting online. Very, very well known that, I forget what these gay-ass graphs are, but, there's these graphs where it's like the top 1% of guys like that are sleeping with like the 80% of women on online dating, something like that, right?
Whoa.
So, guys, I'm really focused on online. Right? Oh, sick. How many girls you been with in the last month? Well, none in the last month. Oh, sick focus. So in the last month, you've been scrolling and messaging and ping, dopamine. You haven't even had sex in 30 days, but you're really focused. What's the focus? Explain to me. So you've got these guys that hop around from Facebook to Instagram to Tinder to TikTok over and over and over again. And then they get bored, so they go and they look at their credit score. You guys ever been there before? You run out of apps to even look at because you just keep looking at all of them, and now you're over on Credit Karma, and now you're fucking about to apply for a credit card because you're bored?
Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So absolute dopamine demons. I mean, I tell guys all the time, if you ever see me touch my phone in the morning, it's still on airplane mode. I'm setting an alarm. I'm setting like a 4-hour alarm from the morning for like supplements.
Yeah.
The phone does not go on. Bare minimum. My lowest time that the phone goes off of airplane mode is 30 minutes. That's my lowest. Typically, it's about an hour.
Wow.
I bring this concept to guys. Not only do I bring this concept to them, especially my mentorship students, I really force it upon them, and they say, I couldn't do it. How have you been with the phone? You still just been laying in bed, getting right on the phone? Yeah, I can't do the phone thing. The other things, I'm doing this, I'm approaching, I'm doing that, but I can't do the phone thing.
Wow.
You cannot wake up and be. End of statement.
Yeah.
That's it. The period.
That's crazy.
You can't wake up and be. I try so hard. I just can't. You can't wake up and just be what and who you are and think what you think.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
For a lot of people, it's painful to just sit still.
Oh, dude. I mean, I would say everybody. Nobody can just be. I mean, nobody. It blows.
I like that. I like to sit still.
No, you don't. You hate it too. I see you twitch.
I don't know what you're talking
So
about.
nobody, dude, nobody. No. But it's a very, very, it's a very small amount of people. I would actually argue that you don't.
I
You,
like being still.
Actually, I'm completely open to being wrong.
Yeah.
But I actually believe that even in those times where you believe that you're being still, you're doing a lot of overthinking and overanalyzing into, you know, these different the parts work and all that kind of deep stuff that you're into.
I disagree.
Okay.
I've done a lot of spiritual work. I'm good at stillness.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. No, I've
Got it.
definitely like thought about it a lot.
Because that's another thing too, is people they'll think that they're being still, and this is now, I mean, again, for like fucking 2 people listening,
Yeah.
they'll think that they're being still, but even then, it's that addiction to the thoughts. I found myself addicted to the thoughts, absolutely. Oh my god, 100%. That's really the hardest addiction to break, is that addiction to, you know, creating these scenarios, plotting, planning, thinking, you know, reminiscing on the past, reminiscing on, you know, just all of these things. It is very, very difficult. And you know what? That's why I actually do. I think that contrary to what a lot of self-development people used to really talk about, you know, with, you know, being, you have time to watch TV, you should be working on your business, whatever. I think that TV, really good shows, you know, it's got to be like a high vibration show. It's got to be some solid, amazing entertainment, maybe something you're even learning about the world. You're learning things, you're enjoying yourself. I think that TV can be a very powerful mechanism for people to help in today's day and age to really to turn that mind off a little bit. And I actually think that it's an upgrade from the phone in a lot of ways. Now, what I've fallen into as well, I'm no fucking Gandhi, I'm no Buddha here. What I've fallen into is what most people are doing, which is they not only have the TV on, they are doing everything that they typically do on their phone while the TV's on.
Wow. Like just more distraction and chaos.
I saw a great meme one day. It said, "After a long day of working on my medium screen, I reward myself by putting on the big screen and playing on my little screen."
Oh my god.
And that's
so
the
funny.
world, bro.
Yeah.
Dude,
Wow.
we are living in a time. We are living. This is the singularity. This is the moment. We are living in the actual shift. And the actual shift is that you have a very small percentage of the population that is actually waking up, that is actually becoming higher vibration, that will actually... And you know what, dude? I just realized something. This is the rapture.
This is the rapture. Yeah, it could be. That's really funny.
Dude, we are living in the rapture.
Like if you're able to get conscious during this, then you pass.
This is the rapture.
Wow.
Dude, so much of the Bible is just metaphorical.
Yeah.
And the rapture, you know, the idea that, for anybody that doesn't know, in the book of Revelations, the idea of the rapture is that basically around this, you know, a lot of people actually say that it is around this time. Like biblical people and, you know, scholars and shit.
Yeah.
But the idea of the rapture is essentially that, in a literal sense, those who, that right now, you know, the devil is very prevalent on earth. And if you are able to refrain from turning to the devil, then God rewards you by actually taking you up, your body and everything, into heaven. And then everybody else is, then God leaves earth essentially and leaves the rest of us to rot with the devil. So,
Shit.
in a metaphorical sense, I mean, God, is that not what's happening right now? Where a very small few that don't give in to the absolute atrocities of this planet are able to actually ascend into something greater, and that the rest are left behind. And
So
go ahead.
I just had a question.
Yeah.
Like, you know, to pick your brain a little bit on this.
Yeah.
You know, what does this all look like practically? You know, why is it bad that people are distracted? And
Yes,
where's
that's
this
exactly
going?
what I was going to say next is what the Left Behind looks like. And actually, that was a book series turned into a movie series. I remember me and my buddy Steven watched Left Behind a long time ago. But so what does it really look like to be left behind and not be, you know, so now in our metaphorical sense of the rapture, what does the leaving behind look like? Well, to me, I think it looks like the hell that many are living in. So it looks like being in a body that is ravaged with pain, fatigue, and depression.
Like chasing them ghosts and all that?
It's not just that. So let's look at what the devil could represent when it comes to the body. The over-industrialization of the food industry, right? So, I know you're very into fitness lately. You're talking to a
trainer.
He's a trainer, but he's sort of your nutritionist in a lot of ways as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are talking about whole foods and, good solid sources of protein and things like that. And most of the world truly, when we go into Love's, that gas station, they are grabbing giant Mountain Dews. They are grabbing giant bags of Doritos and Mountain Dews and, maybe cigarettes. And you see them and they are they're trying to get through their life, but, they're very overweight. You can just see on their skin. You can see in their eyes. You can just see that they are incredibly unhealthy. And there are few hells really greater in life, I think, than living in an incredibly unhealthy body. If your body turns on you, and maybe because you've let it down that road, I mean, that is a hell. You cannot walk certain distances. You maybe have heart attacks. You maybe are in and out of hospitals. You have an abundance of mental issues caused by the collapse of your physical body.
So we're trying to help these guys get into heaven.
Yes, basically.
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that in a physical body sort of way, even guys that are skinny, that maybe you look at them and you're like, okay, maybe they're okay. I saw this commercial for a medication years ago, and I remember I just thought it was a very cool line that they used. It said, it took one of Newton's laws, and it said a body in motion tends to stay in motion. And I thought that was so cool because we all have had that experience of laying around all day and wondering, why am I so tired? I did nothing today. Why am I so tired? Versus if every single day you were forced to walk 3 miles, you would just start being just ready to go all the time. Like, wow, I just feel like I could just keep moving and keep walking. And so we're also living in this world where we are more and more and more incentivized to stay at home. More and more incentivized to stay at home. Why leave when you can watch a million shows on Netflix? Why leave when you're watching 50 different YouTubers, when you've got all these hot chicks all over TikTok? I mean, some of these girls that pop on TikTok are the hottest things on the planet. Not even women, just the hottest object on the fucking planet. Some of these girls on TikTok and on Instagram. It's insanity. And so why leave? Because leaving is actually painful, because leaving involves, maybe being still for a little while, maybe being without your phone, maybe having to face people and have social interactions that are not comfortable. So you've got those two aspects. You've got the physical body hell. You've got seed oils in all of our food. People talk about this often. They say, so in Italy, why is everybody in good shape when they eat pasta all day and they drink a ton of wine and they're abusing coffee and all this stuff? Why are they in such good shape? What a lot of people don't know is that there are ingredients. I forget exactly what the ingredients are, but there are ingredients in our food that we eat every day, that all of our food, that are illegal in Europe.
Wow.
Illegal. If you put that in food, you will get in trouble.
Wow.
And if you keep doing it, probably go to jail. I mean, it's illegal. And yet we are eating the shit every single day.
Wow.
These toxic high fructose corn syrup, fucking all these different chemicals. So you have to also become very aware of all of that and realize that so much of what you're putting into your body is actually making you sick. It's making you fat. It's making you cancerous. And that is, on a lot of levels, that's hell. I think that staying at home is going to be okay for a little bit. I like a nice night in. I like watching some Jeopardy. I like putting on Ozark. I like a nice night in. But when your life becomes a night in, it's not so nice anymore. And so when you're more and more incentivized because there's even more dopamine at home than there ever could be in the outside world, then you are becoming a demon. You're becoming a dopamine demon, and your friend asks you to come out with him, and all of a sudden you start thinking, man, Whenever I go out with that guy, he likes to talk to chicks. I'm going to freeze up. I'm going to face social adversity. It's going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to be around a lot of people. Haven't been around a lot of people lately. Then you become the dopamine demon. And so back to the rapture metaphor here. you find yourself consuming you find yourself not being satisfied anymore. They call this doom scrolling. Have you heard that expression?
I have heard of it. I don't know what
doom
it is.
scrolling is when you don't even know what you're doing anymore. You couldn't even say what you've read or looked at for the last 30 minutes,
You're
but
just
you
going.
have just been scrolling
Yeah.
and looking and hopping from this to that to this to
Your
that.
thoughts are off.
Dude,
Like,
and then
you're
you
just
come
not-
back to the room and you're like, where am I? What am I even doing?
I've definitely doom scrolled like a couple times.
Yeah, for sure.
You wake up and you're like, ugh, what have I been doing?
And so the mood of your day will be set in those first 30 minutes of the day. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, read something really high, fucking whatever, run your affirmation. No. Just start with 30 minutes of no phone. You put that bitch on airplane mode the night before. I don't know how legit it is, but there's some science behind why that's actually good. Something to do with the waves and all of that. You put your phone on airplane mode before you go to bed. You pass out, and you wake up, and you do 30 minutes where you're not listening to something, you're not scrolling, you're not looking at anything, and you just kind of see, what do you do? Who are you?
Yeah.
Do you shower and make your coffee and make your breakfast and just sit in that 30 minutes, and then ask yourself. When I ask a student, I say, how you been doing with the phone in the morning, and then you ask yourself, when you try this, you listen to this podcast and you give it a shot, and you can't do it, you actually can't. You go, oh my God, I fucking it's been fucking 10 minutes, I can't go any longer. What is going on there? Well, what's going on there is you're similar now to the pack-a-day smoker, that the second that they wake up, they must have a cigarette. They must have a cigarette. And so because you did not have dopamine throughout your night, you have to wake up and you got to get that dopamine spike right away. And all of the food and all of the dopamine, the chasing the ghost of the dopamine, all of that is also making you more tired. You're way more tired than you ever were before, and it's not just age. It's not just age.
Something I could throw in here for this.
Yes,
This
go
is
ahead.
really good.
I would love your input.
So a while back I read a book called Willpower, and it was like the 42 laws of willpower or something like that. And a lot of it was the same stuff of don't look at your phone in the morning, eat really healthy foods, all that. But then it started to implement some really interesting ideas that I never heard before. Like, for example, it would say breathe outside air instead of indoor air. Or it would say, we tested a bunch of breathing patterns of people that were in a trance, distracted by something, versus the breathing patterns of people that were focused and had willpower, and we found that erratic breathing is one of the elements of having willpower. So all of this, really, what we're talking about, I think, is having control back to yourself, right? Bringing the control back away from the phone and more to not the agendas of the posts on Facebook and the agendas of the videos on YouTube, but the agenda of yourself. To, okay, now I'm going to go outside and go in nature. I'm going to take some deep breaths for 30 minutes before my phone comes on, and I'm going to think about what I want to do for the life of Todd Smith.
Yeah.
And that's way better than scroll. Dude, honestly, and I'm going to be honest with you, you might not believe it, but I actually sometimes feel pain scrolling through Facebook and shit.
Oh, I've had that. I believe you.
Sometimes I'm like, I can't look at this right now. And I trust that other people, as they wake up, will start to kind of recognize, okay, I need to pull away from this. But you get desensitized.
Yes, you do, and it's getting real bad. It's getting really, really bad. There's this image that'll go viral here and there on Twitter of this grandfather sitting at the table of a McDonald's, I think, with his kid, and the grandfather's just kind of looking off. And then you look at the kid, and he's got an iPad and big headphones on. So he's sitting there with his little grandson, and so even those little conversations are being taken away. That ability to communicate with other human beings is being taken away. And it starts off innocently, and parents are busy, and so they'll throw the iPad in front of their kid. But you know what, man? Like, I really think that
You gotta make time.
Yeah, make time. And a lot of people that don't want to face adversity in their day-to-day life, well, where else do they not want to face adversity? From their child.
Wow. Yeah.
Mom, Colin has an iPad and he plays this fun game at school, and it's like and he plays it at reset, whatever. I want an iPad. Listen, you're not getting an iPad. Go play with the Legos. But and so you're already stressed out at work. You're already struggling to pay the bills. You're already this and that. The last thing you want is to also have to deal with adversity from your child. This is why people are such poor parents. You ever see the fucking parent where they have their kid is throwing a tantrum and they have no control whatsoever? Where the parent is actually very helplessly like, please, like, come on, we really gotta go, and the kid's freaking out. Dude, that makes me cringe so hard, because that child is being raised in a household where there is no leader. The child is not being directed, and you must direct your children. You must lead your children. Your child comes home from school one day and says, Dad, I think I'm a girl. You say, hey, maybe. But anyways, go play with all your shit. But I think I'm a girl because today I played with Barbies. Well, you can play with Barbies tomorrow. Go fucking play with your stupid toys. Get the fuck out of my face. And all of a sudden, 3 days later, the boy's a boy again. You don't just start shooting your fucking kid up with hormones because, Joe Biden and the gang tells you that you're a fucking bigot if you don't. Because your kid's clearly a fucking girl. You lead your fucking child into a direction. You don't let them have whatever candy they want. Mommy, I want fucking cake. Okay, just because your kid also now is a cake enjoyer doesn't mean you let them be a cake enjoyer. You say, listen, motherfucker, you have a squishy little brain. I'm going to lead you in the right direction. And when you're 18 and, maybe 16, whatever, if you can start making some bigger decisions, some better decisions in your life for yourself. But for now, I decide your fucking life. I don't want to play fucking football anymore. Well, you're just being a lazy bitch. So I'm going to make you play. And then, your kid's going to come back after practice and be like, I made 3 friends. It was so fucking fun. You have to guide your children. And so where this ties into being a dopamine demon is that when you're not even guiding your own life because your life is being completely redirected every millisecond to the nearest dopamine depository, then you're not going to lead your children. And your children are going to be even worse off. And then you think you're going to get a fucking girlfriend that doesn't cheat on you? You think you're going to find a woman to be loyal to you when you can't even fucking be off of your phone for 30 minutes in the morning? I mean, that's a harsh statement, but I really believe that. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's impossible. Holy shit.
I was just thinking, people are hearing a lot of noises. We should maybe tell them a little bit about where we're at and what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. We are, so we're driving. We're moving to Austin, Texas. I'm moving. Alpha Chad here is helping me, and we're driving my Jeep down the highway. We've got a trailer that we're pulling along, and I think what we'll do is we'll kind of save, because we got a lot of stories already from this journey.
Yeah.
And I think we've got an important lesson, and maybe we'll either save it for the end of this episode or potentially for another episode.
Okay.
So, what's the remedy here? How do I not be a dopamine demon? Well, I see a lot of people doing these dopamine detoxes. They talk about doing them. Very few people actually do the dopamine detox. I think that's great. Do it. I did it. I fucking went to the woods for 3 days. I had nothing. It was definitely a dopamine detox. It was pretty extreme. But you know what? I think a lot of these guys, if they're going to do the dopamine detox, they're just going to rebound and maybe even actually be worse off when they get right back on that phone. And so at the end of the day, I think that we're always looking for so many little hacks, little mechanisms, little strategies, all these things that we can use to eat better, to control our dopamine intake, to do this and that. And at the end of the day, it's got to come from your spirit. Spirit is really all that matters. It's got to come from your soul. So, you have to really say to yourself, okay, for the dopamine detox is one thing, this and that. throughout the day, how about you start for 30 minutes, and then throughout the day, how about you go, you know what, I've been doom scrolling. I'm going to put this on airplane mode for an hour, and I'm going to go for a walk. I've been needing to pick up this thing from the store. I'm going to go pick up this thing from the store. Do you walk anymore?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Do you know that that's unique?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that guys don't just go for walks?
That is pretty unique, yeah.
But it's mind-blowing to me that people don't just go on a walk. I walk all the time. It's not even for fitness. I don't care really.
Right.
I don't
It's to be
look
present.
at it as like it's to be present. It's to be a part of my fucking environment. Guys don't want to be a part of their environment anymore. And guys think that they're gonna, another thing with the online dating is it's like, guys think, okay, I'm gonna do all this online dating, and I'm gonna get laid all the time from it. So one, that's highly unlikely, but two, you think you're gonna go on a date and be a fuck you. So let me get this straight. So you are inside all day out of fear of being around people. You have crippling social anxiety at work. You see other people at your job hanging out, and you're kind of like not getting invited that much, and you don't have that many friends, and you don't go out and really talk to very many people, and you really struggle with it. So you think that you're going to go on a date, and all of a sudden you're going to turn on the charisma. You think that after running away from your environment so much, you think that now you're going to walk into the bar to meet up with this chick and, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. God damn it. So you think you're going to fucking walk into the bar and meet up with this chick, and that you're going to bro out with the fucking waiter and shoot the shit about the venue and the menu and how's his day's fucking going. You guys are going to fucking bro out. She's going to see that side of you. You're going to fucking order for her. You're going to be fucking charismatic. You're going to fucking, some couple that's sitting next to you guys sparks a little conversation. You think you're going to make this girl laugh? You think you're going to be able to challenge her in some way? You think you're going to be able to hold any kind of a conversation while you spend your days running from being a part of your environment? It's laughable. It's actually laughable. And I think what I'm doing right now is I think I'm giving a voice to the thoughts that many men are having in today's world. I think that social anxiety is more rampant than absolutely ever. I think sometimes I talk to people out in the world, in the environment, that I feel I see them, they look like a deer in the headlights. I feel like they haven't talked to a human in like 5 days. They can barely get through sentences, and I'm just thinking to myself sometimes, I'm like, where does this end for you, do you think? Where does this end for you? Because it's not pretty.
Damn.
It's not a pretty ending. And so, being a dopamine demon, if I ever sound distracted right now, guys, I will just give you a quick explanation, which is that this trailer we're hauling it's massive. It's incredibly heavy. I've never hauled a trailer. We're reaching, I wouldn't say dense traffic, but we're definitely surrounded by semis and things right now. And
we've had some close calls.
Oh yeah, that bitch earlier, and I can see in my mirror that she's literally texting and almost crashes into us, and I start to go off the road, and she will continue her day, and she will because what is she? She's a dopamine demon. She can't.
We almost got killed by one today.
A dopamine demon. You guys almost didn't hear this podcast today because a dopamine demon who couldn't even be driving on the road without going. And here's the thing: I text and drive. But I'm good at it. I'm very good at it. I'm just kind of good at a lot of things. So that girl is probably not good at much. I think she was hot. I couldn't really tell, but I think her face was at least somewhat appealing. So, she's got an ass probably. Usually they got a good face. They got a booty. Not all the time, but sometimes. So, she's got an ass. She's got a family. And she's got a job. But she's probably not good at anything. Most people with jobs are not good at anything. You don't have to be good at anything to really have a job. Do you know that? Like out in the real world, not doing like Evolution Daily shit. Like, do you know you don't even have to be good at something and you can just have a job?
For sure, yeah. I'm like, I mean, my whole thing is like, I try to take pride in what I do. So like, I remember back when I was like a janitor, I was like one of the top ones because like I want to do a good job. But looking around, like I definitely saw a lot of people who did not have to try, didn't try. You know what I mean? I guess it's true. You don't really have to. You don't have to be good. You just have to fill a slot, right?
Taking pride in what you do is a foreign language to most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a foreign language. And so then they want to be prideful. They want to have, they want to now look like a human being to people because that's the only time they care. But because they haven't been taking pride in absolutely anything in their life, it's very hard to fake. It's very incongruent. And so,
wow.
and so they, there's that expression, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
True.
It's a good expression. It maybe has its holes, but nuance is lame and boring. I don't really care about nuance. So it's a good expression to live by. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And, I guess it's just, with this talk and with everything, what I'm trying to bring to guys is this awareness that's still going, right?
Yeah.
I want to bring this awareness that this is leading in a very, very dark place. And where, where you are more and more and more addicted, and everybody feels it. Like I said, I feel like I'm giving a voice to a lot of these guys' thoughts. Yeah. Where they know, as soon as I said all that shit about the doom scrolling, and then you've hit every app so many times that now you're like doing some weird shit, like checking your credit score or some you're looking at stocks. You have nothing invested, but now you're curious about Tesla stock. I mean, you go searching for it. Guys are resonating with that hard right now because that's what so many men are doing. And with the rapture, we could almost sum it up in a lot of ways. We could almost sum it up into the hell on earth being the metaverse.
Oh my God, the metaverse is it.
It's pretty much hell on earth.
Wow.
And and we're basically in it now. So, has it fully rolled out as far as, Facebook is actually concerned and all of that? And is everybody actually working in it yet? Not really. But we're pretty much there already. Most men are living in their own version of a hellish metaverse where they do not like leaving the house. They hate it. It gives them very, very bad anxiety. And that momentum of not facing your fears in any way, of not moving towards anxiety, that momentum creates more and more and more anxieties because it consistently confirms to your body that safety and actually even a little bit of dopamine and joy comes from avoiding anxiety. This is why the guy who goes out to do day game will walk by the girl. The guy who goes out and he's absolutely out there to do day game. She's alone. There's nobody around. She's decently attractive, not even super hot to be intimidating, not ugly to be, a good excuse. She's like a decently attractive woman. She's by herself. She's walking towards you. You're out there to do day game, and you walk by her anyway. And the reason why you walk by her anyway is because you guys like to parrot me. You guys like to say what I say. You like to say that you fear regret. That you always regret, not taking action, and you like to parrot what I say, but you don't really mean it. You actually get a very profound dopamine spike from walking by the girl and choosing to avoid the anxiety that you were initially going to face. But what you don't realize is that you have to go through hell to get to heaven. You have to go through that anxiety, the fear. I don't even have a story to jump to. There's 100. There's 1,000 where I was nervous to go talk to a fucking girl, and I was alone. And I say, Aaron, you cannot be getting on this podcast. You cannot be doing these fucking boot camps. You cannot sit here and tell motherfuckers to face anxiety and fear when right now you have this perfect opportunity to talk to this chick, and you're kind of horny, and you have nothing to do, and you can't bitch out here. And there has been so many where I've done it, and I was a little bit nervous, and I did it, and maybe I'm even a little shaky at the beginning. I don't know. Maybe I didn't talk to anybody that day. Maybe I had too much coffee. I don't fucking know. Maybe I'm a little shaky. And then I get through that anxiety, and then I get that girl's number, and then before you know it, you know, she's put on a condom. I'm like, no, you know? I mean, that's where this goes. I'm kidding. I'm the most pro condom person I know. I very rarely raw dog. And I don't just say that to like cover my ass. I get bad anxiety. There was like a few times where I did raw dog and I really thought about the implications of getting that girl pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's a week long where I'm like, if that's the one I get pregnant, this fucking jewel addicted party girl who's fucking 20 years old, like if I'm getting her pregnant, I'm fucked, and I'm thinking about it all day, and now I'm following up with her just to see if she's pregnant. I'm like, hey, how you been? You know, what's up? How are you? So the anxiety I get from potentially getting one of these thoughts pregnant is just so not worth it. And you know, with condoms, the thing is the more you wear them, the better that they just are. You don't really have a hard time getting hard with a condom when you wear them more often. But then I've had relationships where I'm fucking raw all the time, and now I go to put that condom on, and it is a little bit harder to stay hard. It doesn't feel as good.
It's like trying to eat a sandwich through a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's interesting. That visual, the visual I'm having of like, I want it so bad, I'm just biting plastic. It's like mushy plastic. That's a great visual. It's you guys got to wrap it up out there. I mean, I just know too many. You know, I know a kid in Columbus who, which I might never step foot in Columbus again. It's an interesting feeling.
Shit.
So, but I know this kid who he was out there. He was doing a lot of game, and he was actually somewhat doing a little bit of boot camps. He was kind of becoming a coach a little bit around the same time I was, and man, he same night pull, fucked some chick. I don't even know if he blasted in her. I don't think he did, but this chick got pregnant. She has a crazy religious family, and the family hates him. He's only able to see the daughter like every couple weeks or something. You know, his life is over. And you see the guy, and I'm sorry if he hears this. I really don't mean any offense, but the emptiness in his eyes, the death that I see on this man's face is shocking.
Shit.
Yeah, it's god awful.
Holy shit.
And you know, children are a beautiful thing, but you know, the woman that you end up having a child with is, I mean, I don't know if there's a more important decision that you will make in your life. I actually saw this great little TikTok the other day, and it showed a woman, and she was giving this baby a bath, and the baby's laughing and the woman's laughing and the guy's filming it, and the TikTok says, I got this advice from my grandfather one time. It was like a voiceover, and he said, you can always choose the women that you sleep with, but your child doesn't get to choose his mother. And I was like, wow, that's profound. And a lot of guys are,
it's an important decision.
It's the biggest. I mean, it's a huge deal. I mean, you know, especially if you are, you know, married to this woman, or you want to, I mean, your kid's got to have you don't want a situation where you're living a life where you and this woman hate each other's guts. You're struggling for fucking custody. You're paying out money to her that you know she's not even using on the kid. She's just fucking out every weekend. You're paying child support for her to go get fucked in the bathroom. I mean, it's not a fun situation. So what do you think about dopamine demons?
I mean, you know me, I'm such an anomaly to so much of this. Like, I'm like the opposite, you know? I go out to fields and I think what I want. Sometimes I just take deep breaths, and I've had days and weeks in presence where I've not thought a thought. Like, I'm crazy. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm tapped into something else.
Right.
I feel bad for people that are stuck in it, but at the same time, I think that anybody who really has something that they want out of life, like, that should be calling you to get away from the phone, and that should be calling you to get away from the things that you struggle with.
Yeah, and there's another layer to being a dopamine demon as well, which that layer is the dopamine that you will get from feeling as though there is a part of you inside that feels as though you just made some progress that you didn't actually make. So
Like some kind of fake shit.
So the guy who is sitting there right now, who thinks he's gonna be a world-class entrepreneur. He thinks he's gonna fucking be the first of his family to break out of this poverty, to fucking go off and start a business. And he is watching Gary Vee all the time. And he signs up for the Tanner Childester course, and he watches the Ty Lopez thing, and he writes and he plans and he thinks, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna fucking yeah. And the guy might actually go to bed and he might actually feel accomplished. He might actually feel like, I took solid notes on that. I fucking, I did that. Preparation is gay. Preparation is a very beta gay sort of it's not a mindset, it's not an action, it's a way of being. Many people live in preparation.
Yeah, for sure.
And they think and that's the thing, is because everything, you probably, if there were business books, I mean, you had Napoleon Hill back in the 30s. I'm sure there was some other, whatever. He started a lumber company and maybe wrote a book on it back in the early 1900s maybe.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you that while you were reading that book, you didn't feel the dopamine of actually accomplishing something. That books will give you far less dopamine than a video, than some visualizations, than Ty Lopez giving business advice with 3 models in the background. And so back then you would read that book, and you needed to read that book because that was the only way that you could actually transfer information from one human to another. That guy couldn't go and fucking, he lives in New York and you live in California. You two will never, ever even be within 1,000 miles of each other, very likely. And so you had to read books. And now what happens is, because that information is given in such quick sound bites, it's so visually intensive and so visually appealing in so many ways, and it's fun and it's music and it's, the little click and the fucking whatever, then you actually will watch all of those and get the dopamine spikes from those videos and feel like you're doing something. Well, how often have I had a guy at a fucking boot camp who says to me, yeah, man, I've been watching videos for years and I've barely ever approached a chick. And so they're watching the videos and they're in preparation mode. They're living in a way of being, which is preparation. And they're going, yeah, one day I'm gonna go talk to a girl. Oh, this is gonna be perfect, because when I go and talk to a chick, I'm gonna know to do this, to do that, to do this. I was in preparation mode for stand-up comedy. I spent an entire year writing jokes before I went and did stand-up, and then I went and I did the jokes. And I realized that there is nothing, this might have been my first great teacher in the idea of experiential learning. My first great teacher / slap in the face of, you actually just thought that you wrote like an hour of material before ever touching foot on a stage. You actually thought these jokes would work in a live situation. You actually thought that this was good.
Oh, shit.
And then you actually do comedy and you realize how garbage, how strange, how inauthentic this is actually going to be when you're at an open mic and there's only 6 people there and you're looking them in the eyes and you're saying these things.
Wow.
How hack they are, how awful they are.
Did you have a terrible first set?
My very first set ever. It's not a funny story.
Oh, shit.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh,
I
fuck.
killed it.
You killed it?
I did great.
Oh, shit. Okay. Hell
I
yeah.
fucking crushed it. I thought to myself, after a year of preparation and going up the first time and doing great, getting good laughs. It was a full room. I was insanely nervous, shaking nervous. I got big laughs. Some of my shit actually was hilarious. It was awesome. I left that stage feeling like, oh my God, this thing I've been preparing for forever. I am going to be a god at this. I am going to kill it in comedy. This is insane.
Wow.
I'm really going to do this.
Oh, shit.
And my next maybe 20 times were some of the worst bombs.
Oh, man.
The most socially... People cannot fathom the anxiety that you will experience of being up on this stage with a bright light on you in a silent room of a lot of people looking at you and dying for you to get off stage. And looking at each other and texting and not wanting to make eye contact with you because they are feeling secondhand embarrassment for how bad you are.
That is funny.
And how nervous you are and how shaky you are, and it's making them nervous and shaky. I mean, it's horrible.
Wow.
So I got a big head after my first time. I even had this guy Gilly in Columbus. He's still doing comedy. He came out to me and he's like, man, that was pretty fucking good for your first time, man. I'm like, oh, thank you so much, man. Thank you, whatever. And then, dude, the next ones, boom, 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 boom.
Oh.
Horrible. Oh
Damn.
my God, it was so bad. So, that was an incredible experience. But, these sorts of things, I mean, back to preparation, right? I mean, we'll talk about the journey that we're on right now and,
Sure.
buying this cord from a guy at the gas station for $150 and,
Yeah.
crazy shit. But I think a lot of people are living, people are preparing. Men are preparing their whole lives.
Dude, everybody's scared. That's what it really is.
Yeah.
It's like they're coming from fear, and it's always like a way to move forward without actually moving forward. And you can tell yourself you'll move forward tomorrow, but it's the fear. And I don't know, like I think a lot of people do have trouble discerning when the actual time to move forward is. And so often, especially from what we know, forward-moving energy is a very masculine trait. You need to have most people need to have a lot more forward-moving energy. We found that, like, you just got to move forward, like, a lot sooner than most people think. And that's where I think all the preparation comes from, is it's a misrepresentation of when you're supposed to do it, a mistiming out of fear.
Preparation is part of being a dopamine demon.
Really?
Yeah, because let's say that you're also preparing for something that's maybe a couple years in the future or something. Again, I'm going to start this business in 2 years, or I'm going to start game next year. I've heard some things like this where, as soon as this job is over and then I'm able to find a new job and then I'm able to move to this other city, that's when I'm going to start game.
Yeah.
There's just no point in starting game here, whatever. Bro, I have gotten laid in Grafton, Ohio. I've gotten laid in Maineville, Ohio from grocery store game. Don't talk to me. You guys feel free to go ahead and look those up. And then talk to me about your small town. Talk to me
so
about your
funny.
fucking small town.
Grafton, I've been to Grafton with you. It's there's nothing there.
Yes.
It's a field.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's shocking. And so you get a lot of dopamine from this preparation because you're able to actually now exit you know what preparation does?
What's that?
Preparation is actually an escape from the hell that you're living in right now. So let's say that right now you have nothing, you have no direction.
Yeah.
You're doing nothing, you're not, your body's falling apart, everything is hell. But preparation is actually a wormhole into dopamine because the reason you are, about to not be able to pay your rent, and the reason why you're fat, and the reason why you have no fucking chicks and no prospect of ever getting them or anything is because I gotta wait till I can move to that city. And when I move to that city,
Yeah.
and this job right now, I have to fucking work 12-hour days, and so I fucking whatever. But when this job's over, yeah, so you get to actually live in complete inaction, being a complete sloth, dopamine demon fuck. You get to live in that reality, but you get to wormhole into dopamine and say, soon, baby. Yeah, soon I'm going to start the business. I'm going to do the comedy. I'm going to talk to the chicks. I'm going to write the book. So preparation gives you nothing. And there's some nerd listening to this right now. One of you listening to this right now is a fucking nerd. And you're like, but if you don't prepare, then you could, you make mistake, and preparation could potentially, no. You're not living in action. I was talking to you yesterday about, there's people out there because we were talking about what an adventure this trip has already been.
Yeah.
And it's been like a day. And I was talking about how, there's people where they're living, 5 years at a time, where in 15 years, if they looked back at that 5-year brick, there was nothing that they would ever look back on as any memory.
No, like, core memory or
as
anything.
as any adventure, as anything like that was a what did you say earlier? You said driving that Jeep Grand Cherokee was a
peak experience.
A peak experience.
Yeah.
They're having no peak experiences. I
Right.
think there's guys that can look back at 25 to 30 and be like, yeah, I just didn't really yeah, I mean, I guess I went to that baseball game that one time,
Wow.
like whatever. You're just not having any adventure. How long have we done, by the way?
We're at 55 minutes.
Okay, cool. So now solutions. Okay, let's talk about, I mean, really what is there to do here?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to really turn your back on the metaverse. You really have to turn your back. Now, you have to also have a spirit that says, I'm going to be a man of balance. I'm going to be a man that's completely in control of my universe. And so, for example, are you hearing me bring up a YouTube video that I watch? Are you hearing me bring up a TikTok? Are you hearing me bring up some girl on Instagram? Absolutely. I'm not cold from all of these. I'm not saying I don't use any of these. I fucking love some TV shows. What am I watching right now? I'm watching this dumb show on Amazon called The Wilds. It's pretty good, actually. It's all right. I like these things. However, you have to be in control in all ways. You have to be the leader of your own life, and that includes what you're going to consume.
Yes. Yeah.
That includes being in complete control of what you're going to consume. And so when you're doom scrolling and when you're looking at your screen time and it says you've been on the phone 8 hours a day, then you can't, you're not in control anymore. And so what you got to do is you got to go out and you have to interact with the world around you. You have to interact with the environment around you. You got to pick one barber shop to go to, and you go to that barber shop and everybody knows you, and you shoot the shit with your barber. And you got to go to a fucking bar and know the fucking bouncers and ask him how his night's fucking going and talk about some other fucking a bar fight you just saw and some crazy shit and get to know him and fucking introduce yourself. And now when you fucking roll up to that same bar and the line's out the fucking door, you don't get in the back of that line. You go up, you slip him a fucking 20, you dap him up, you're like, yo, what up, man? He's like, oh, thanks, bro. Yeah, come on in. And you fucking walk on in. Then you look at the rest of the fucking peasants in line, and I love this experience. I love having that experience. I love that I created that reality at Standard Hall in Columbus, Ohio, where there would be huge lines, and I got to know a few of the bouncers there. And would they have let me in for free because I got to know them? Absolutely. But do I respect their time? Do I respect them and know that they want money? They want to have a job, and they want something? Yeah. So I loved the experience of seeing a huge line, hot chicks waiting in that line, cool dudes, big groups, couples. And I loved walking to the front of that line, dapping up Ivory, slapping a 20 in his fucking hand, and being like, bro, what's up, man? How you been? Good, bro. Yeah, come on in. Sick. And I loved seeing and hearing people get angry. I heard a guy yell. It was like one of the last times I did it. A guy yells, "Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck is that?" I heard a guy yell. I almost feel I don't even like saying this. It sounds so over the top. But that same guy, he literally yelled, "Who the fuck is he?"
That's so funny.
He yelled, "Who the fuck is he?"
I think I remember that night. That was funny.
Who the fuck is he? It's like, who was this dude that literally just had the privilege of cutting this line? Well, that's what happens when you interact in your fucking environment. You become a part of your environment, and you want people to know you. You want girls to know you. You want the cool people in your fucking city to know you. You want to interact with them. You want to go to the same fucking coffee shop. I go to the same fucking Starbucks on campus all the time. I get greeted like a fucking king. I never needed any favors from them, but if I ever did, I walk in a fucking city tavern all the time. And over there, that Starbucks over on campus, they're like trans and shit.
Uh-huh.
There's like 3 of them that are like gay. There's like one normal guy. There's like this little black girl that always wearing a mask. These aren't even my people, but I was incredibly friendly to all of them, and would shoot the shit with them. And they'd be like, "Aaron, what's up? How's your day?" It's like you gotta have these connections at these places. City Tavern in Columbus, Ohio. I fucking walk in, "Hey, what's going on?" I had the waiter come to one of my last dates and go, "You gonna do the nachos?" And I'm like, "Yes, sir. You know me." He's always doing the nachos. And the girl just sees me broing out with the waiter, and we're just, he knows I'm getting the nachos. And sometimes girls would, be like, "You take all your bitches here." I'm like, "Yep, absolutely." But you've got to go out to the bar and you've got to meet women. You've got to talk to women. You've got to be eye to eye with girls and have a shirt with no bra and pierced tits poking out at you. And you've got to be around that. Because if you're not around that, then you're never going to know how to be around that. You're not going to know how to interact in those environments. It's like when people, it's like when people get around somebody that's a little bit famous or something. They're like, oh my God, I don't even want to bring up I don't want to bring up a couple of specific examples, but it's like, I've seen people where they'll see somebody that's like a fucking lowly YouTuber. And they're like, oh my God, like I fucking, and then go up and like fucking, let me get a picture, like fucking whatever. And it's like, that's cool, but like, or just go up and be like, yo, what's up, man? I love your shit. It's like, just fucking pay some respect and act like you belong here. Walk into a fancy restaurant and don't like fucking take pictures of the fucking art. Just eat. Just act like you fucking belong places. And the reason you don't feel like you belong places is because you're on TikTok all day. And you're a dopamine demon.